Did Meghan Markle truly slap down our wonderful monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, by excluding her from this? Let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. As ever, thank you for joining me. Listen, thank you so much for your very kind comments about some of the videos we've posted up recently as well. Always nice to know exactly what you feel, and of course the ones that really resonate with you. A little bit like me, I know the big one about the Harrods milk really got you going. Did me still get angry about things like that. And also it's interesting, I've been asked by some of the news channels that I work for to comment about whether we're all ditching sort of credit cards and loyalty cards and stuff like that, you know, in this cost of living crisis. I don't know about you, but I recently picked up this card and apparently it was £25 a month and I could have 5 coffees a day, but I had to have a subscription for a year. £300 a month just to get coffee from a coffee shop. Anybody ever heard of a flask and a jar of coffee, pints of milk? Just think of how much money you can save. Oh, listen, that could be another channel, couldn't it? Saving with Neil. Oh, don't get me going. Back as ever to your breaking royal story of the day. Now, a few people could forget, of course, a sort of big bang explosion that happened way back in 2018 now, when it was revealed by someone, we're not quite sure exactly who, that Meghan Markle was about to embark on a brand new venture. A venture apparently that would break the internet, very similar to Kim Kardashian. Do you remember when she had that very big picture of a peachy posterior and everybody logged on to look at it? Almost took the size of my screen up, you know. Never forget it. Didn't really understand exactly where that particular posterior had come from. It was never that big when I met her, but there you go. Interesting to note as well, though, that Meghan wanted to do something similar, break the internet as they call it. So according to now folklore, the glossy magazine Vogue, now edited by Edward Enninful, was really the #1 choice. And according to Meghan, they asked her to edit the special magazine. Now, this was all about forces of nature, you know, great people who've done wonderful things throughout history. And very odd in its sense, because I remember chatting to Jane Fonda, the Hollywood star, and she had never met Meghan, but she was absolutely thrilled just to be included. I mean, you've got to remember with celebrities, they're just included because they are celebrities and they're never going to refuse you, because the bottom line is you're giving them free PR. Many other people, of course, that were also included as great women. But the one woman that really wasn't included and truly should have been was our monarch of 70 years, the Platinum Jubilee babe herself, and Bond girl, I'm sure she won't mind me calling her that, Queen Elizabeth II. Now, what's interesting here, we can tell you first and exclusively on the show, is that it was suggested by the Vogue team that perhaps Queen Elizabeth should in fact be included. Now, here's where it gets really sketchy, because there are a few people now that have left that particular publication who are willing to speak. So thank you to them. Was it a pleasurable experience working on the Vogue edition? Not particularly, for many different reasons, you know. And one can only imagine just how, shall we say, demanding Miss Markle may have been. Not really grateful for the opportunity, but more importantly, I would imagine, wanted to put her stamp over it. Now, let's not forget, this particular edition did sell incredibly well. But of course, it didn't have this sort of publicity that any other, previous sort of cover had for a long time. But here's where it gets tricky, you know. It was intonated, as I say, that Queen Elizabeth II should be included. And I have been told, and as ever we have to say allegedly, directly from the editor himself, Edward Enninful. But for some mysterious reason, that wasn't simply to be the case. What is interesting, and I find this incredible in itself, is the fact that it went ahead without our gracious monarch. Now, more importantly, one might say, you know, how bad was that? Well, truly, it just didn't look good. And let's not forget, when the monarch and the rest of Buckingham Palace found out that this was a publication that Meghan Markle had done secretly behind their backs, you can understand how even more nauseating and annoying it was. How upset was our gracious monarch? Well, apparently she was rather miffed and a little bit upset. Now, let me give you the reasons why. If you think about it, during that time, she'd done her very best to welcome Meghan within the family. Lots of different things that she'd done, taken her on the royal train, let her come and stay at Balmoral, all of those sort of things. So to reach out and offer such a hand of friendship, only to find that in the 11th hour, when possibly a nice gentle thank you via a worldwide selling magazine would have been courteous, if nothing else but nice, simply it wasn't to be. And that point was truly the point when our gracious monarch, Her Majesty the Queen, realised that indeed Meghan was her own force of change and going to have to be watched very closely. As ever, when I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.